Today. So since we start late, I promise to make it on the other end. I will stop a little early. You cannot be late on both sides. That's not fair, right? Yes, yes. Yeah. Come late, go early. Yeah. Well, that makes sense. Yes. So we were talking about different Christian mission works in India. I think last week we talked about work in Nagaland. Yes, work in Nagaland. Well, we say a few words about Manipur. Manipur, the word means actually the jewel of India. Yes, it's like Manikyam, short Manipur, the jewel of India. It is not sure to which anthropological group the people of Manipur belongs to. There are a lot of theories. Some say they came from China. Well, could be. Others say they came from South India. Actually, the Meiteis, they don't look like the Chinese very much. But the Kukis and the Nagas who live in the hills, they of course look like the rest of the Mangaloid tribe. There are many Adivasi groups in Manipur, the Khumans, the Luwangs, the Meitei, the Moriangs, Nagas and Kukis. The Meiteis all live in the valleys. Some of you may have gone to Manipur. Manipur is a beautiful place. I love that place. Yes. Hinduism was not the religion of Manipur. The Manipuri people were nature worshippers. The Meiteis are still nature worshippers, though in 1705 the king of Manipur has accepted Hinduism as the official religion. So even though the people are still nature worshippers, officially the religion is Hinduism. East of Manipur is Upper Burma, north we have Nagaland, south is Mizoram, and west is the Kachar district of Assam. Imphal, the capital, is a nice small city, not a very big city, but very good city. Manipuri is the official language, English is a second language. Manipur became a part of India in 1949. In 1972, it became a state. One of the major problems the Manipuris face today is the insurgency problem. They wanted Manipur to be independent. The decision of the Manipuri king to join the India was not approved by the people even today. So you talk to the people, they talk differently. It's interesting when we go there, in the meetings and all, people sometimes welcome. We are happy to welcome so and so from India. That's the way they will. Nagaland also they will. It sounds funny to us, but emotionally the people feel that they are not part of the rest of India because anthropologically they don't look like us, so they say culturally they are not. Roman Catholicism actually grew there very much because the king was trained in a Roman Catholic mission school. He gave permission to the Catholic missions, to start schools all over, Manipur. So they have used that. So the Roman Catholics grew in Manipur more than the Protestants. Of course, there are Baptist churches and some other evangelical churches, but they are not very large, they are not very large. The Baptist missionaries who came to Nagaland from there, some of them went to Manipur also, but the work was not as big. Actually, one Mr. C.V. John from Kerala, he married a Manipuri girl and settled down there. He has done quite a bit Baptist work. So he is known there very much and respected also. Manipur has a lot of Christians, but they are basically Catholics and some Protestants. Meghalaya, another state, Meghalaya means the house of clouds. Megham and Alayam. Meghalaya, the house of clouds. Cherrapunchi, what is unique about Cherrapunchi? The highest rain in India. That's in Meghalaya. Where did these people come from? Most of them think that they came from Tibet. Their tribe, Bodo tribe, is their main tribe, and they, in many ways, culturally agree with the people of Tibet. Therefore, they think that they have come from there. Their chief is known as Nokma, N-O-K-M-A. So, their name, they will have this one, Nokma so-and-so. Khasis is another one major tribe after Bodo. The Bodos, we know that they always create some troubles, the Bodo troubles and all that, it's known, In I think in India, one place where the matriarchal system is still operating is Meghalaya. I think Missos also got some matriarchal system. We are all patriarchal, that's the matriarchal system. Even there are places where you take, your mother's last name as your last name, not the father's last name. Oh yeah, in India. Yeah, we are now in Meghalaya.
Even in Kerala, it's the Nayars.
And the Nayars, it's a matriarchal system. They call the Marumakkathayam system, where the nephew marries the uncle's daughter and then gets settled at the uncle's home. So basically the mother's properties, but does not take the name of the the father's name still taken, but the property goes matriarchally there. Yes.
Coorg is a capital.
Yeah, yes, some places. Coorg? You sure?
I think border of Karnataka.
Yeah, Coorg is is in Karnataka, the border of Kerala. Coorgis are big people, They claim the most beautiful women in the world are the Coorgi women. They believe, they have a story that, the Devas came down and had relationships and all that. Yes. Coorg is some famous Coorgis. Kariyappa, Timmayya, some of those great generals, they are all warriors. They are not afraid of people. Even today you go there, you feel they are big, tall, fellows. But the original Coorgis all live in Bangalore and other places. They have properties there, coffee estates. Plenty of Coorgi oranges and coffee estates they have. So, in the 19th century, the British brought the Khasis, the Garos and the Jaintians under the rule and added them to Assam. For a long time, the present Meghalaya area was part of the Assam. And then in 1972, Meghalaya became an independent state. Christianity is the major religion of Meghalaya. Shillong is the capital. We do not know exactly who evangelized Meghalaya, other than that the missionaries who came to Assam may have done it. But there's a lot of Christians there, Roman Catholics and Baptists, there are plenty. I just go only the Mizoram is another state. In 1987, Mizoram became an independent state. It's very mountainous areas. If you see that they're all big mountains, and you can see houses there, and sometimes the cars go above the houses, because the houses are on the slopes and the road goes above them. Beautiful places, yes, Mizoram. It's a mountain area. The meaning of Mizoram is the land of hills. Hills, land of mountains, you could say. Lushai is the largest tribal group. Lushai, Mizo and English are the three languages. But I think Mizo English is taught in all schools and colleges, so you can live there with English. The Mizos claim that they are the lost tribe of the Manasseh of Israel. There are many places with Jewish names in Mizoram. Yes, Shalem, Bethlehem, and so many, and some of the streets and shops and all Jewish names they have. In 1999, 400 Mizos returned to Israel. Yes, and there are many more people in Mizoram who claim Israeli connection. They claim that in Mizoram 8 lakhs and in Manipur, Tripura and Assam 7.2 lakhs Jewish people. So it's a lot of 15 lakhs Jewish people in those hill states. They all claim that they are all the tribe of Manasseh. Actually, Israel has now put a moratorium on taking people from Mizoram, because there's a large number of people. If permission is given, they will all go. Israel cannot accommodate 15 lakhs people from one area, In 1994 and between 94 and 2003, another 800 people returned to Jerusalem. In 2006, November, 53 people went to Israel. So people they're taking in small numbers, They're all applying to go to there. And they have proved genetically that these people are of Israeli stock. So, they may go. Who knows, some of us may also be. I want to be a Christian, I don't want to be a Jew. Won't mind to be a Jewish Christian. Don't want to be a Jew, for sure. Mizoram is a whole Christian state in India. It's all Presbyterians, basically. The missionaries divided these hill states. Nagaland was given to the Baptists. They have done some division because, some ship stealing happened in the sense that, some missionaries come and take people from the other, so there was some problem. So they said that you take this state, we work here, you work there. So that sort of, in Africa also they do that. Different African countries are taken by different missions, the Baptist, the Brethren, and the Mennonites, and all they have. So you go to some states, it's basically all them. There is no, interstate fights on those. I don't know whether it's good or bad. I was thinking about that. If you happen to be in Mizoram, you have to be a Presbyterian. Even if you study the Bible and find out that that's not what the Bible teaches, you have to be a Presbyterian because you are in Mizoram. In Nagaland, you have to be a Baptist. You have to have the name Baptist there. Otherwise, you cannot worship there. So they have Pentecostal Baptist. And when we started our work there, people said, you have to, use the word Baptist somewhere. Then there is no problem. If you don't have that, either as a suffix or a prefix, if you don't have it somewhere that attached, then you have a problem. The people does not know what Baptist stands for, other than, of course, baptism they know. Yeah, so you have to be. But then Baptists are not the only people who got baptism. All the Pentecostals have, the Brethren have. There are so many other churches have, congregations have baptism. So for them, are you born again and baptized? Even if you are not born again, but are you baptized after you grew up? You are a Baptist. So Mizoram is all Presbyterian. The greatest problem Mizos face today is Satan worship. They said all the young people in Mizoram is turning to Satan worship. They are attacking the churches and destroying churches and burning Bibles and all. So, they are making research why people are turning to Satan worship, Well, a lot of people are converted just for namesake, there is no reality. They were required to follow certain rituals. So when you are forced to follow certain rituals without any reality and you don't know why you are doing it, then you will feel a little more freedom with some of these cultic groups. At least they will give you freedom to do certain things that you are prone to do, like certain moral issues and all that. Most of these Satan groups, they allow you to do that. So young people like it. Here they insist on, like in Mizoram, they insist that, certain modern dresses you cannot wear. It has to be, from up to the ankles here, and, they have very strict dress codes and all. It's just one piece of clothes there. But the young people wanted the Western dress, So this satanic worshippers probably allow them to do some of those things. That may be. They don't know. They do research to find out why young people are turning to Satan worship. Anyway, Satan is worshipped everywhere, but this Church of Satan, that sort of thing. In Maharashtra, Bombay, we have Church of Satan? I don't think. In Kerala we have.
Bombay also, South Bombay,
They have? Kerala, they have many places. In Palai there is a Church of Satan. Ernakulam there is. It's very terrible, Church of Satan. You have to spit on the Bible, stand on the Bible, you have to stand on a cross, spit on it, things, do very dirty things, very dirty things. Anyway, Satan is not a gentleman, so they cannot do things. So Mizoram is there with the Presbyterianism. Arunachal Pradesh, Christianity is not big here. Roman Catholics are the major group. Polygamy is very common even among Christians in Arunachal Pradesh. The one book I read, they said that, they come for Mahmudis, the child baptism, children are brought sometimes. A man comes with 5 wives and sometimes 5 babies to be, baptized basically the same time. So they have to do it. This is their custom. Just like in Kenya and all, I met in Kenya a man with 36 wives. He asked me how many I have. So I said, I have only one. He said, you're not good. How many children you have? I said, 5. You're good. You're not a man. He got over 100 children, Man, when you have 36 wives, you live as a rich man. So polygamy. And if people have a difficult time managing one, how can they manage 36? But one good thing, they don't live in the same house. You have to have different houses for everybody. Yeah. And certain distance have to be maintained, like maybe at least 500 meters or something, So that's required. So not everybody can have, there you have to pay dowry to the girl's father. Depends upon the social status of 1 cow, 5 cows, 50 cows. It's all cow. So, cows are very costly. So you can start living, no problem. That's the way. You meet somebody somewhere, you start living. But she is not officially your wife. If she dies, only her parents can bury her. You cannot bury her. But once you take a cow with you, visit the father-in-law, and if he accepts a cow and shake hand with you, then officially she becomes your wife. And if she die, you can bury. They cannot bury. There's some customs. So, well, he doesn't have to accept it. He doesn't have to accept it, no. He can demand, I want 20 cows. It depends upon the family status, the education of the girl. Actually, they are paying back the money they invested for the girl's education and all. That's the justification. And they are losing the income she will be generating, because all labor is done by women only. Men just sit down, play cards and drink. That's all they do. What an economy, eh? Yeah. So, Arunachal Pradesh got polygamy. Yes.
But then, according to the constitution of the country,
well, the cow in the book doesn't eat grass. You know that. It's true, our constitution says many things. But where the people are doing these things, what people will do? India government is going to send police there to arrest all those people. It's never going to work out. The customs of the people, it's very difficult to change. Well, it does not mean everybody there, if you are a government official or something, you cannot have, at least you cannot show, The state government they can probably, because it's state, but central government you have to have only one wife.
Is this only among the Christians there?
No, everybody. Everybody.
The whole state?
No, it's not among the Christians, no. It's among the non-Christian. That's a tribal custom. You marry. It was a Jesuit missionaries who came to Arunachal Pradesh in 1626. So that's very early. Christianity came to Arunachal Pradesh much before, before the king accepted Hinduism as the official religion. His name is Ahom Raj Rudra Singh. That's the name of the king. In 1700s, he accepted Hinduism as the official religion. But before that, 1626, almost 74 years before that, actually, Jesuit missionaries came. During the British rule, Protestant missions grew there, because the British people were basically Protestants, the Anglicans. So Protestantism grew there. Roman Catholics were refused permission in many districts by the Britishers. The American Baptists, Welsh Presbyterians, British Baptists, they were given permission to work. David Scott, you probably heard of David Scott, was a commissioner who encouraged Protestant missionaries. So eventually in Assam, Manipur, etc., Protestantism flourished. They established many colleges, schools and Bible colleges. Sarambur, by a Baptist mission, who started it? William Carey. William Ward, Joshua Marshman, etc., they gave leadership to Protestant work in Bengal, and the work expanded to Assam and Meghalaya. One Krishna Chandra Pal from Sarambur mission contributed much to the work of Northeast. Chandrapal contributed much to the work in Assam. He translated Bible into Khasi language. In 87, New Testament was translated into Manipuri language. You know, they started a school also in Guwahati. So this man, Chandrapal, definitely has done a lot, and they respect him. In 1836, American Baptist missions started work in the Brahmaputra Valley. In Chirapunchi, the Presbyterians started their work. Anglican missionary Robert Brown started work in 1804 in Guwahati. Tezpur in Assam became a major mission center. Sidney Eldon, who was a chaplain in the tea estates, in 1804 reached Tezpur and started schools which helped in evangelism. In 1870, the Lutherans started work in Bengal. In 1847, the Brethren started work in Assam. Captain James Gordon, who was head of the Darang districts, gave leadership to the Brethren work. Brother Merck worked along with Captain Gordon and established the first Brethren church in Brahmaputra Valley. Another missionary, Hazel Mayer, established an orphanage in Tezpur. So a lot of, work going. It's just information for us to know, some of these things. In 1905, a great revival took place in Khasi Hills. From 1903 to 1907, the revival fire kept burning. The Presbyterian church grew in Mizoram as a result of the revival. Presbyterian church grew in Manipur, Mizoram and Assam. According to a census of 1998, there are 2,568 Presbyterian churches in the Northeast. That's quite few. Today almost all evangelical churches have work in Northeast. Pentecostals have spread in many places. Brethren have work in many parts. So the Northeast is pretty well evangelized, but even though we say that Christianity is there, the truth is Christians are not there, but Christianity is there. Born again people are very, very few. I have gone Manipur, Nagaland and some of these places. You cannot walk freely in the evenings. The insurgencies. No, they will stop you and they will demand money. Whatever money they give, they demand, you give. I always escape because I said I'm a missionary, and they said go. And then they will say, do you want us to take you to the place or can you walk alone? They respect pastors, missionaries very highly because of the Christian influence. You go and buy a fridge, whatever sale tax you paid, that's evening the insurgencies will come home, the same amount you have to pay them. Otherwise they will take away the fridge from you. The insurgencies are very, very strong there. So they do that. They give it to them. Because these insurgencies are demanding for separate states. Yes. Who encourages them? That's a big question. It's a political question. Actually, some say the government encourages them because to keep our army there, according to international law, you have to have troubles. In the border areas, you can keep only a fixed number of army. To keep more than that, you have to prove there are insurgency problem there. So sometimes, it's said that money and weapons are given frequently, insurgency problems are created so that we can keep our army there. That's one version, I don't know, It's very interesting. Very interesting. Yes. Some of the insurgents even have their own currency. Yes, there is one group, very strange group. I wanted to meet them, that's in Manipur. So we went and asked for an appointment, and they said no, you cannot. Then we went back another time and they gave us, they will take us to their general, all in uniform. And we talked to them, and when we left, he gave me some currencies. Keep it. It's the world government. That's it. The international world government. Headquarters Manipur. Oh, I threw it away. Why keep it? Yeah. Those people, that's quite a army they have. I mean, they don't have weapons or anything. They may have, but they all hold a stick and all, that's all. They may have, but the people are there, so their insurgencies are there, and it's very, very interesting. And the northeast you go, you can feel that there's some problem. Yes.
Do we have a local church there?
We have a church we had a church in Manipur, and we had church in Nagaland. What is the area? That one place. Dimapur. Yes. We have a worker, Disney, working in Dimapur, and you may have met one man called from Manipur. What is his name? Sugumar. Yeah. There are few people. The work is not flourishing. No, not at all. Dimapur you can do work among Muslims. The West from Bangladesh, lot of Muslims have migrated to Assam, from Assam to Dimapur, and those Muslims are open. You don't have to be afraid of going their home and talking. There are a lot of Muslims received Jesus Christ there because they are misplaced, and Nagaland is a Christian land. Therefore Muslims cannot do anything to Christians. Even if in heart they don't like it, they cannot argue against a Christian, because it's Nagaland. It's a Christian country. So, that's where we do a lot of work among the Muslims. And Muslims are getting converted there. That's very interesting. As long as you don't convert a Naga, Naga has to be a Baptist. Has to be. You can do a Baptist work, but then you have to get a license from them. You have to have a license to baptize, to break bread, to marry, and to bury. And you can get the license only if you are a member of the Baptist church. But in Dimapur, you don't need any license from anybody, as long as you don't have Nagas. You have Muslims or anybody who come from outside, you can have them. You can have your own church building, cemetery and everything. You don't need a permission. But if any single Naga is there, then problem is there. You have to have permission. So, very, very difficult things. Okay, we will talk a little bit about the Christian denominations in India in general. We were talking about the Northeast. Christians in India, you remember the major division that happened between the East and the West? We have covered all that, yeah. India stood with the East, not with the West. The whole West went Roman Catholic, with Rome as headquarters. But the East, with the, not under one patriarch, there were a number of patriarchs. Patriarch of Babylon, Patriarch of Antioch, Patriarch of the Coptic Patriarch in Egypt, the Russian Patriarch. There are many, many patriarchs. The Indian stayed basically with the Antiochian Patriarch. So the church in India was part of the Patriarchate of Antioch, the Orthodox Church. That's where the Indians lived. It was nothing to do with Roman Catholics until the Roman Catholic missionaries came here and converted them to Roman Catholicism. So traditionally, we Indians don't have Roman Catholic roots. We have Jacobite or Orthodox roots. That's what it is, But then Roman Catholics came later, and a lot of people began to be converted. The big divide of Christians in the world have brought India under the Orthodox view, belonged to the Eastern Roman Empire. Since Christianity in the early centuries in India was primarily in Kerala and also in some parts of Punjab, these two places basically confined, both places ascribe its origin to Apostle Thomas. One view is Thomas came to Kerala to work among the Jewish migrations there. The other is Thomas came to an area in India, the Indus Valley area. Kerala was not known, nor Tamil Nadu was known, Karnataka, they were not known as India. The word India applied to these places much recently. Otherwise, India meant the areas around the Indus River, the Indus Valley. There, a strong group of Christians were there in the first, second century at least. There were evidences for that one. So it may have been started by Apostle Thomas, that's one possibility, and people think that Thomas came down all the way, visiting different places and came to Mylapore, in Tamil Nadu. That's where he was assassinated and his tomb was there. Something that, he came down to Kerala and then on his way back, he was assassinated. We don't know, This is all no written history concerning these things, and therefore just traditions. Whatever you wanted to believe, you have the freedom to believe, when it comes to traditions. When Roman Catholicism began to convert Orthodox Christians to Catholic faith, the Orthodox people reacted very strongly. They didn't like it. Actually, the Roman Catholics were converting Orthodox people to Catholicism not by preaching but by force. Everywhere the Roman Catholics went, they have no message to preach. They basically convert people either by force or coercion or by undue influence. Giving things. They don't have a message to preach. What message they will preach? So they had the Udayamperur Synod. Some of you know that the Meneses, who was the bishop, the archbishop, came from Portugal. The Portuguese were ruling at that time, and he called all the bishops of the Orthodox Church, the priest of the Orthodox Church, and they met in Udayamperur in Kerala, and that was in 1599, and a lot of the Roman Catholic, the Orthodox priests were forced to sign declarations saying that they owe their allegiance to Pope. They were forced to. And against this Udayamperur, synod and the decision, the next half a century, Kerala Christians suffered terribly under the hands of the Portuguese. The Portuguese yoke was very heavy on them. In 1653, that is almost 1599 to 1653, so almost half a century, on 3rd January 3rd, a Friday, many Christians decided they do not want to submit to the Pope and to the Portuguese. They came together in Mattancherry and tied a rope on the Coonan cross, and holding on the rope they have taken an oath not to submit to Pope or to the Portuguese, but shall remain faithful to the Antiochian tradition of the Orthodox faith. So the Coonan Kurisha Satyagraha, it's called, it's very, very famous. Historians interpret differently that one, whether it was the Coonan Kurisha, oath was against the Roman Catholic Church or against the Portuguese. This is, At least Father Kudapura, who is a Roman Catholic historian, he says it was not against Pope, it was only against the excesses committed by Meneses and the Portuguese. But Actually, it was against both. It was against both because, only for Pope they were doing this. Who else they were doing it? It was a revolt against both. After the Kunan cross oath, the Malankara Orthodox Church maintained closer relationship with the Antiochian Patriarchate. Until then they had a loose, it's that loose relationship that has forced many. In 1685 and 1751, bishops from Antioch came to Kerala. In 1876, there was a synod at Mulanturuthi which accepted the leadership of the Antiochian Patriarch. By that time, the Portuguese were to go. They lost their hold in India. The Dutch came, then the English came. So the Portuguese, they remained just in Goa and just in few places. Most of the other places they had to go. But by that time, among the coastal areas, the Roman Catholics have established their dominion. Oh yes. Francis Xavier, he has converted all the fishermen community, a large amount was converted. And, he was so successful. I like to know how he was so successful. Of course, it was not preaching the gospel, but the Protestant missionaries never adopted that method. Yes. Even from when the father of our constitution, Ambedkar, Dr. Ambedkar, went into Protestant missionaries in India and said that they all wanted to convert to Christianity. The only thing they requested was that they give them education and give them livelihood, means teach them some trade. But the Christian missionaries said, Protestant missionaries said, sorry, we don't have a provision to do that. We have to preach the gospel, you have to accept Jesus Christ and become a Christian. So they all went into Buddhism en masse. They became the Buddhists, I feel sorry really, I believe very strongly that only by preaching the gospel, accepting in Jesus Christ, a person can become truly a Christian. But we have Christendom today, all the people that are named in the Christendom, they have not accepted Jesus Christ, right? So what would have happened if they all became part of the Christendom? We could have had a larger constituency to preach the gospel. We could have taught their children the Bible, and we could have won many. But anyway, Christian missionaries, they were truly theologically right. I don't want it to say, but they lost an opportunity, definitely.
Could have become another Meghalaya.
Well, isn't that better to have a Meghalaya than some other Alaya? Definitely, as a Christian, I will say that, definitely. So in 1876, the synod at Mulanturuthi, Mulanturuthi is a place in Kerala, very near Ernakulam, they accepted the leadership of the Antiochian Patriarch. However, that relationship did not last long for many things. In 1911, the Patriarch of Antioch excommunicated the Bishop of Malankara, Divanius VI. And this led the Malankara Orthodox believers to start their own patriarchate in Kerala. So they ordained a patriarch in Niranam. On 1912, September 15, they invited a patriarch from the east, Abdul Messiah Patriarch, who ordained Paulus Mar Ivanius, the first, as the Catholicos of the east. This action divided Kerala Orthodox believers into two factions, the Metran Kashi and the Bhava Kashi. Of course, you can see them even in the streets, sometimes fighting each other with lathis and all that. And, they have cases in high courts and Supreme Court. It's so sad that the Christian image is completely lost. The Hindu judges have to preside to decide what Christians should do, who should be worshipping in their church building. Isn't that shame? That's shame. I think when good things get bad, they stink, much more than, ordinary things. In 1975, those who supported the Antioch Patriarch formed the Malankara Syrian Orthodox, the Jacobite Church, confirming their relationship with Antioch. Today, so the Metran Kachi and the Bava Kachi. So, what they call the Jacobites, they belong to the Antiochian tradition. For all major decisions, they invite the Patriarch from Antioch, while the other Metran Kachi, or the Orthodox people, they have their own Bava at Kottayam. On July 26, 2002 at Damascus, the Antiochian Patriarch Ignatius Saka, the first ordained Thomas Mar Dionysius at Basilius Thomas Bava of the East. Thomas Mar Dionysius, he is known as the Basilius Thomas Pradavan Bava, the Sreshta Katholika. So Apostle Thomas is having a chair now in Kottayam. He must be happy, I guess, because he didn't have a chair to sit. Even though he may be standing there, his successor is sitting there. Oh, what these people understand about Christianity? Sometimes I think that, don't they read the Bible? Apostle Paul traveled all over the Roman Empire. Where did he have a chair? What about Peter? What about all the other apostles? And this is ridiculous, I say that. Of course, people get so heated and so, when you discuss with some of these Orthodox people or Jacobite people about some of these church matters, and they get so spirited, Yes, you speak a word against them, Yes, your problem. The fight between the Bava Kachi and the Metran Kachi continues with court cases and street fights. That's so sad. The Anglican Church. You know the story of the Anglican Church. We have dealt in detail about Henry VIII and how he wanted to marry a woman, and so he, pulled out himself from the Roman Catholic Church and all that. But it was somewhat a providence of God, because he did that, the Great Britain is Protestant, and when the British colonialism spread to all over the world, the Protestant missionaries went everywhere, and there was the freedom to preach the gospel. Wherever the Portuguese went, all the Roman Catholics could go. Wherever the British went. Of course, in India, the East India Company never allowed actually missionaries to come there, because the leaders of the East India Company said that if Hindus are converted, that will hurt our business interests. Hurt our business interests. The British people were more interested in making little money than in reaching, a soul. But anyway, as a result of the Anglican Church, in 1799, the Church Missionary Society, CMS, was formed in England, and the work of the CMS spread to different parts of the world. Church of England, Church of New Zealand, Church of Ireland, Church of Burma, Episcopal Church in USA, Episcopal Church in Scotland, Church in Wales, Church of Ceylon, Church of West Indies, Church of the Province of West Africa, the Australian Church, the Canadian Church, then eventually the CNI and the CSI of India are all the results of the CMS ministry. They have done quite a bit work, Yes, the early CMS missionaries were good people. They preached the gospel. We may disagree with them on our ecclesiology, but they preached the gospel for sure. The message that one need to believe in Jesus Christ to be saved. And so we are thankful for what they have done. In 1600, December 31st, Queen Elizabeth gave permission to the East India Company to begin trade in India. Chaplains were sent to serve the British employees. The East India Company never encouraged mission work. However, some of the chaplains gave much attention to mission work also. Among them are K.H. Kerr of Madras, Dr. Claudius Buchanan of Kerala. Buchanan understood the need of the Bible. Only Syrian version was available in Kerala at that time. So Buchanan, with the help of Bishop Mar Diocenius Metropolitan, translated the 4 Gospels and printed it at a courier press in Bombay, 1811. Colonel Munro, who was a resident in Kerala, informed the CMS to send missionaries to help the church in Kerala. In 1814, they appointed T.F. Middleton as bishop in Calcutta and sent in 1816 Mr. Norton and family to Kerala. They came to Kottayam. In 1817, Benjamin Bailey, heard of Benjamin Bailey? Have heard of him? No? Being a Christian, you'd never heard Benjamin Bailey? Benjamin Bailey and Gundert were the 2 people who translated the Bible, Malayalam Bible. Benjamin Bailey's Bible and Gundert's Bible. Gundert was in the north and Bailey was in Kottayam. They both translated. Then the Bible Society has taken both and edited together, made one single. The Bible Society Bible, the Malayalam Bible we use today, is the Bailey plus Gundert Bible. They have taken it. So in 1817, Benjamin Bailey and wife came to Kottayam. The same year, another missionary, Joseph Fenn from London, also came to Kottayam. Henry Baker Sr. and Henry Baker Jr. also came to Kottayam. Under the leadership of Colonel Monroe, they started a seminary at Kottayam in order to reform the Orthodox Church, But resistance came from the Orthodox people, because these missionaries taught that prior to Mary, all idols must be taken away, and no mediator other than Jesus Christ, no chatham, the ceremony for the dead, and all the no prayer for the dead people. So these missionaries, they said this is all unbiblical, anti-biblical, you have to stop. Will the Orthodox people stop there? That's their pet doctrines, As they say, if there is no mother, there is no son. And, so the resistance came from the Indian leaders as the missionaries wanted to change many of those practices. So actually, the reformation of the Orthodox Church never taken place because of resistance. Many in the Orthodox Church got saved and they left it. They are the ones who came to the Marthoma Church later, Bailey began translation of the Bible and he printed in 1827. He established a CMS press at Kottayam. In 1829, Bailey translated and printed the New Testament, 1842, the whole Bible. He also made a Malayalam dictionary and a grammar book. Reverend George Mathan, Reverend Umman Mamman, Reverend Koshi, etc. cooperated with the missionary to end the slavery in India. Slavery in India was terrible. The women could not cover their breast. It was open. Only upper class women, the Brahmins, could, wear blouses. So otherwise they couldn't. The Christian missionaries required the Christian women to do it. So the king in Kerala opposed. But the Idavas and others, they were not allowed. There was a tax if you have to wear a blouse. So the Christian women did that. Then one Idava woman, chopped off her breast and gave it to the king instead of the tax money. I don't have money, you take it. And then the king stopped it, gave permission to wear. This is because of actually the work of the Christian missionaries. The Christian women were all covering. The upper class Hindus were covering, but all the others were, only that. So that was, and the slavery was very, very terrible. So these missionaries and these, kashishas, they were called kashisha, the priests, they were all worked together. And in 1812, Monroe, he was a resident. Kerala was not ruled by the Britishers. Kashmir and Kerala, 2 states in India, were not ruled by Britishers. They gave them tribute to the Britishers. So there was a resident, a representative of the British government there. And Colonel Monroe was the resident or the representative. And, he also worked for ending the slavery. And then in Kerala, slavery was, legally ended. Missionaries also emphasize education of backward communities, You can take some books written by some of the Kerala, socialist leaders. They will say that how the Edavas and the other backward communities, they could not go to school. They could not go to school. It was against, the interest of the upper class. And even when the Christians allowed them to go to school, the others opposed to it. But the Christian missionaries anyway, they made them. The thing they could not suffer is that when a Brahmin student is sitting and Pulayas, is sitting with him right on the same bench. So the Christian missionaries said that we don't discriminate between Brahmins or this, other Shudras or anything. Human being, everybody has only one soul and everybody is equal before God. So, that started. And they also started education for women, Oh, sending women to school? That was never heard. So, actually missionaries brought English education at a very early time, and because our people in Kerala got this English education, Kerala is much ahead other people, they have gone even Western countries. Most of the NRIs, our income comes from Kerala, is from the NRIs. They are all gone and Kerala advanced, and that's true part of Tamil Nadu also. Missionaries came there. But the other places where missionary work was resisted, like Bihar for example, it is called the cemetery of Christianity, missions. See how backward even today Bihar is, very backward. And in today's paper that because of malnutrition and starvation, people were dying in Maharashtra. The one English paper I have read that, How many people died this 1 year of starvation in Maharashtra? Can you think of that? People dying? In India of starvation? There is no need. That means that there are a lot of people who don't have land, who don't have work, who don't have education, who have nothing. The government is trying to save, human beings have no value, animals have values. And it's sad really, Human beings have no value here in this country. You cannot hit a dog on the street. They give so much value to the dogs. That's terrible. Yes. So we'll stop, take a break there, Yes.